folks, this is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. How are you today? You doing good? I hope you're doing good because, you know, it's Monday. It's the 22nd of September 2014 and I'm live. What more do you need? What more do you need? Lots of things going on. Lots of things are happening. Lots of things are, I don't know. Well, what can I say? You know? A lot of things are going on. I can tell you this much. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things seem to be changing every 5 minutes. I've said that before. And things are changing so much that I have to tell you that coming up in probably a month or so, this whole show is going to change. And you can be a part of that, by the way. I'll tell you more about that later. But let's just say things are going to change. I'll tell you more when the time comes and when it gets closer. It is something more on a personal level, but the show is not going to suffer. Okay? The show is not going to suffer only because of the fact that I won't let it. Might be off for a few days. Might be off for maybe a couple of weeks. But when the time gets closer, I will let you know. Anyway, what do we got going on? Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Check things out. If you would, please, that would be fantastic. And people still want Hillary Clinton to be president. Really? Are you sure, folks? Can you go to thefreebeacon.com? The Hillary letters. Hillary Clinton and Saul Alinsky correspondence revealed. So I'll tell you that coming right up after the break. But the thing that you have to remember is, yeah, people still want her as president. Are they out of their flippin' minds? Well, obviously they are. But a lot more coming up. Such as those people that want $15 an hour working at McDonald's. Well, CNET.com says McDonald's hires 7,000 touch-screen cashiers. So there you go. Kiss your $15 an hour goodbye. Okay, because you're not going to get it. Yeah, that's a starter job. It helps you learn how to be responsible, all that. And, you know, even for retirees that want a little income. I bet those retirees can run circles around those arrogant, self-centered teenagers that are around there thinking they know everything. So now you're screwed, you stupid ne'er-do-wells. I'm flipping burgers. I deserve $15 an hour. You deserve a kick in the ass. That's what you deserve. And you just got one. Actually, 7,000 of them. So there you go. Screw your $15 an hour. Okay? Told you. I told you before. You do that, you start raising the minimum wage, and people are going to suffer. Well, how do you like me now? I'll be back right after this. Catch up on the latest news and controversy and more on The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com and SpencerHughes.net. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Hey, folks, this is The Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network at freeamericaradio.us and Spreaker.com. Look for Free America Radio Network, and you are there. This is the 22nd of September, 2014. I'm your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Things are changing, and so am I. So, there you go. Lots of things going on in the news today. Let's get right to it before I get into my rants and my long-winded analysis. You know how it goes, folks. Iran and China prepare for joint naval exercises. That's one thing. U.S. natural gas exports deal blow to state-owned Russian company. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Hezbollah launches drone strike near Syrian border. Okay, we got a lot of that going on. Facebook CEO, Amnesty enthusiast, there we go, if I can speak, Mark Zuckerberg is a terrible neighbor, according to some. Big labor millionaires lecture on inequality. Tony Blair, ground troops needed to fight ISIL, or ISIS, or a derivative of Al-Qaeda. Islamic State urges attacks on U.S. French citizens, taunts Obama. It's all on freebeacon.com, especially this story right here. The Hillary letters. Hillary Clinton, Saul Alinsky correspondence revealed. Note, read the Hillary Clinton, Saul Alinsky letters here. And it's got a link to it, as a matter of fact, after I read you this. It's also in the article itself, so if you want to go there, that's good too. Previously unpublished correspondence between Hillary Clinton and the late left-wing organizer Saul Alinsky reveals new details about her relationship with the controversial Chicago activist and sheds light on her early ideological development. Clinton met with Alinsky several times in 1968 while writing a Wellesley, is that what it is? Wellesley, there we go, Wellesley College thesis about his theory of community organizing. Sound familiar? Clinton's relationship with Alinsky and her support for his philosophy continued for several years after she entered Yale Law School in 1969. Two letters obtained by the Washington Free Beacon show. The letters obtained by the Free Beacon are part of the archives of the Industrial Areas Foundation, a training center for community organizers founded by Alinsky, which are housed at the University of Texas at Austin. The letters also suggest that Alinsky, who died in 1972, had a deeper influence in Clinton's earlier political views than previously known. The 23-year-old Hillary Clinton was living in Berkeley, California in the summer of 1971. She was interning at the left-wing law firm Truhoff, Walker, and Bernstein, known for its radical politics and a client roster that included Black Panthers and other militants. On July 8, 1971, Clinton reached out to Alinsky, then 62, in a letter sent via airmail paid for with stamps featuring Franklin Delano Roosevelt and marked personal. Dear Saul, she began, when is that new book, Rules for Radicals, coming out, or has it come out and I somehow missed the fulfillment of Revelation? I have just had my 1,000th conversation with Reveal for Radicals and need some new material to throw at people, she added, a reference of Alinsky's 1946 book on his theories of community organizing. Clinton devoted just one paragraph to her memoir, Living History, to Alinsky, writing that she rejected a job offer from him in 1969 in favor of going to law school. She wrote that she wanted to follow a more conventional path. However, the 1971 letter, Clinton assured Alinsky that she had, quote, survived law school slightly bruised with my belief in and zest for organizing intact, unquote. Quote, the more I've seen of places like Yale Law School and the people who haunt them, the more convinced I am that we have the serious business and joy of much work ahead. If the commitment to a free and open society is ever going to mean more than eloquence and frustration," unquote, wrote Clinton. According to the letter, Clinton and Alinsky had kept in touch since she entered Yale. The 62-year-old radical had reached out to give her advice on campus activism. Now, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? It goes on to say, quote, "If I ever thanked you for the encouraging words of last spring in the midst of the Yale Cambodia madness, I do so now," unquote, wrote Clinton, who had moderated a campus election to join an anti-war student strike. She added that she missed their regular conversations and asked if Alinsky would be able to meet her the next time he was in California. Quote, "I am living in Berkeley and working in Oakland for a summer and would love to see you," unquote, Clinton wrote. Quote, "Let me know if there is any chance of our getting together," unquote. Clinton's letter reached Alinsky's office while he was on an extended trip to Southeast Asia, where he was helping train community organizers in the Philippines. But a response letter from Alinsky's secretary suggests that the radical organizer had a deep fondness for Clinton as well. Quote, "Since I know Alinsky's feelings about you, I took the liberty of opening your letter because I didn't want something urgent to wait for 2 weeks." Alinsky's longtime secretary, Georgia Harper, wrote to Clinton in July 13th, 1971 letter, "And I'm glad I did," unquote. Excuse me. Harper told Clinton that Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals, had been released. She enclosed several reviews of the book. Quote, "Mr. Alinsky will be in San Francisco staying at the Hilton at the airport on Monday and Tuesday, July 26th and 27th. Harper added, quote, "I know he would like to have you call him so that if there is a chance in his schedule, maybe you can get together," unquote. It is unclear whether the meeting occurred. A self-proclaimed radical, Alinsky advocated guerrilla tactics and civil disobedience to correct what he saw as an institutionalized power gap in poor communities. His philosophy divided the world into haves, middle class and wealthy people, and have-nots, the poor. He took the ends justify the means approach to power and wealth redistribution and developed the theoretical basis of quote-unquote community organizing. Quote, "The Prince was written by Machiavelli for haves on how to hold power," unquote, wrote Alinsky in his 1971 book, Rules for Radicals. In his 1971 book, quote, "Rules for Radicals is written for the have-nots on how to take it away," unquote. Clinton's connection to Alinsky has been the subject of speculation for decades. It became controversial when Wellesley College, by request of the Clinton White House, sealed her 1968 thesis from the public for years. Conservative lawyer Barbara Olson said Clinton had asked for the thesis to be sealed because it showed, quote, "the extent to which she internalized and assimilated the beliefs and methods of Saul Alinsky," unquote. Clinton opponent turned Clinton defender David Brock referred to her as, quote, "Alinsky's daughter," unquote. In 1996, The Seduction of Hillary Rodham. The paper was opened to the public in 2001. While the thesis is largely sympathetic to Alinsky, it is also critical of some of his tactics. Clinton described the organizer as, quote, "a man of exceptional charm," unquote, but also objected to some of the conflicts he provided as unrealistic, noting that his model could be difficult for others to replicate. Quote, "Many of Alinsky-inspired poverty warriors could not, discounting political reasons, move beyond the cathartic first step of organizing groups, quote, to oppose, complain, demonstrate, and boycott, unquote, to developing and running a program," unquote, she wrote. The letters obtained by the Free Beacon suggest that Clinton experimented more with radical politics during her law school years than she was publicly acknowledged. In Living History, she describes her views during that time as far more pragmatic than left-wing. She, quote, "agreed with some Alinsky's ideas," unquote, Clinton wrote in her first memoir, but the two had, quote, "fundamental disagreement," unquote, over his anti-establishment tactics. She described how his disagreement led to her parting ways with Alinsky in the summer before law school in 1969. Quote, "He offered me a chance to work with him when I graduated from college. Excuse me. And he was disappointed that I decided to decided instead to go to law school, unquote. She wrote, quote, Alinsky said I would be wasting my time, but my decision was an expression of my belief that the system could be changed from within, unquote. A request for comment from the Clinton team was not returned. Really? Seriously? Did you think you were going to get it? Here's, when you look at the Clinton administration and when you look at the First Lady, Hillary Clinton, of course, back in the 90s with Bill, you could see her, her underlying Alinsky-esque type of politics when it came to her introducing that Hillary care, a thing which later became Romney Care in Massachusetts and later became Obamacare and, all that. Her radical ideas were just that, completely radical. Far beyond the norm, far beyond peace, freedom, security, and liberty for this nation. She talked about, and others of her ilk, talk about redistribution of wealth. You know what that is? Socialism. Everybody on an equal footing. It doesn't matter. What, you're poor? Hey, we'll help you out. Look at, I can't remember the name of the country now, and in some places in Europe this happens, that every month you're given money. You're not working, but you're given money to live by the state. That's communism, folks. Or not communism, that's fascism, socialism, whatever you want to call it. It's an ism that doesn't work in America, okay? It doesn't work. Peace, freedom, security, and liberty in this nation works, and that's just the way it is. Now, the difference between a democracy and a republic isn't that much, except on a fine line where some interpretations is democracy is a group of people voting for people to help run the country. A republic is of, by, and for the people who vote for people that do what the people want them to do. So it is a fine line. Okay, there's governing by a by a powerful elite, as they are now, which is total fascism, socialism. Then there's a freedom and liberty of the United States and of the people, governed by people who the people and the states control. Okay, so that whole situation has fallen apart as well. So what do we have? We have a very upset government turned over to fascism, socialism, communism, Marxism, Leninism. You talk, it's all the isms. Okay? And the first thing they started doing years ago in the United States was trying to get rid of religion out of schools. They were successful in 1960-61. Well, guess what? There starts the downfall. That is when the government decided to come in and fill the gap. And now we have governmental indoctrination institutes. That's what they are. They're not your elementary schools. Oh, at least that's what they say on the outside of the building. They're not your middle schools. They're not your high schools. They're not your community colleges. They're not your universities. No, they're governmental indoctrination institutes, period. End of sentence. You send me a name of a dean of your university of political science. You send me that name, I will interview him on this show, and I will tell him they're not colleges or universities anymore. They're governmental indoctrination institutes, period. That's just the way it is. You cannot get around that idea. You cannot get around that. Now, if people were to actually take a look at what was out there and examine the things that are out there and examine everything that is really in your face, really, there, you will see a definite, you will see a definitive move to a more collective way of politics, or collective society, collectivism, look that up, and communitarianism. I mean, there's this whole idea, you can name it anything you want. The bottom line is it's redistribution of wealth. It's communism, socialism, Marxism, fascism. It's all of that compared to what our founding fathers here in the United States wanted, which was and is and should be for the future a country with a government of, by, and for the people, with freedom, liberty, security, and peace, and that's it. We need a military in the United States to protect our borders, not in other countries fighting their civil wars. They need to be back here, period, end of sentence. Get them back here now, today, this week, this year. That's just the way it is. But I'm good knowing that upwards to 80%, if not more, of the law enforcement and military know what's going on, and they'll be in the streets in a heartbeat to protect us. And if they're not, we have to protect ourselves. There was sheriffs in several places in the United States saying, they're so overwhelmed with doing what they do that one sheriff in a county, I think it was either in California or here, I'm not sure, in the United States somewhere, I don't know specifically, I forgot, where he said to the citizens, you better arm yourself because we're not going to be there in time, or something like that, so it's one of those things, folks, where you sit back and you think, is this real? Is this actually going on? Is this, what is happening here? You can't really wrap your mind around the insanity of what's coming out of Washington, D.C. You can't. There's no way. And we see this, and we understand this, and we know this, but we still, the people who are awake and aware of what's going on, we don't accept this. We didn't give consent to our leaders to do what they're doing right now. Give me a sec. Hang on just a sec. Be right back. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. I had to go do something. So anyway, we look at the world around us and we ask ourselves, I'm sure, where did we go wrong? I don't think we've gone wrong at all, because peace, freedom, liberty, and security for the United States of America is what we want. For America, that's, literally, that's what we want. And we're going to get that regardless. Okay? But not for the people fighting for $15 an hour to flip my burger. No way. CNET.com. McDonald's hires 7,000 touchscreen cashiers. Would you like some microchips with that burger? McDonald's Europe strikes another blow against human interaction by installing 7,000 touchscreen computers to take your order and money. Welcome to McDonald's. My name is Hal9000. May I take your order? McDonald's recently went on a hiring binge in the U.S., adding 62,000 employees to its roster. The hiring picture doesn't look quite so rosy for Europe, where the fast food chain is drafting 7,000 touchscreen kiosks to handle cashiering duties. The move is designed to boost efficiency and make ordering more convenient for customers. In an interview with the Financial Times, McDonald's Europe President Steve Easterbrook notes that the new system will also open up a gold mine for data. Just remember that, folks. McDonald's could potentially strike every Big Mac, McNugget, and large shake to your order. McDonald's could potentially track. I don't know what I said. McDonald's could potentially track every Big Mac, McNugget, and large shake to your order, a calorie account tally at the end of the year, and could be a real shocker. The touchscreens will only accept debit or credit cards, adding to the slow death knell of cash and coins. This all goes along with an overall revamp of McDonald's restaurants worldwide aimed at projecting a modern image as opposed to the old-fashioned golden arches with a slightly creepy, to my taste anyway, the author says there, clown guy hanging around the french fries. This puts McDonald's one step closer to opening up its first Alphaville location. At least our new computer overlords will be nice enough to serve us a fillet of fish. Maybe they'll even throw in an iPad with a Happy Meal one of these days. You know. One of the feature videos here says iPhone sales records and 3D printing in space. So there you go. I'm going to say this again, because it needs to be said. Raising the minimum wage will kill jobs. Okay? Raising the minimum wage will kill jobs. All right? I don't know how many people, look for look for things. In other words, they look for free stuff. But what they don't want for free, they want to be able to pay for. They don't want to, at the end of the month, go, or at the beginning of the month, say, well, let's see, what bill do I put off to get what I want? They want a living wage, is what I'm saying. Raising the minimum wage will never work. At all. Ever. Okay? Ever. All right? The national minimum wage, this is in www.gov.uk. The national minimum wage per hour, almost all workers are entitled to by law. And I'm trying to see 2014 from October, which hasn't come up yet. 21 and over, 6.5 pounds. 18 to 20, 5.13 pounds. I don't know how to pronounce that, folks, so forgive me. 18 and over, 379, and apprentice, 273. These are in pounds. Convert that to American money, and you can see what the minimum wage is over there. I wish people would do one thing and one thing only. Think about the business. If the business is not making the money because prices are so high, then how are you going to get a living wage? If prices are too low, you're not going to be able to pay your employees. There has to be a happy medium. I say abolish minimum wage altogether, implement a fair market living wage per region, a fair market living wage per region, and there you go. Put a flat tax across the board and get rid of federal income tax. Just get rid of it. And put a 15% across the board or even less. If you still want to do that tax thing, 15% across the board for all workers. I don't care if you make $1,000 a week or $1,000 an hour or $1,000 a month, 15% across the board. Flat tax. Screw this tiered crap. It doesn't work, never has, never will. Okay? Anyway, somebody want to tell me why that won't work? Anywho, folks, I'm going to go to break. I'll be right back. Mainstream science argues that if something can't be touched, measured, quantified, and duplicated in a laboratory, then it doesn't exist. According to this worldview, reality is an unconscious, non-personal mass of matter, which leaves no room for the existence of spiritual or unexplained phenomena. But is that all there really is to reality? Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman don't think so, and after reading this book, neither will you. In The Grid, paranormal investigators and best-selling authors Jones and Flaxman present their theory of the grid, a divine superstructure that includes multiple levels of existence, the entirety of which makes up our reality. Jones and Flaxman will show you how to release the limiting belief that this is all there is once and for all by exploring the grid, expanding your awareness, and empowering your life in the process. Reality, dear friend, will never be the same again. The Grid, Exploring the Hidden Infrastructure of Reality by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. Photography is an art form, and Adventures in Photography shows you all of the forms of art there is in our world. Spencer Hughes captures the colors and works of natural art in his book, Adventures in Photography. For more information, go to SpencerHughesPhotography.com. Hey folks, welcome back. This is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. freeamericaradio.us. Help support independent and alternative media by going to freeamericaradio.us, going to the store, sponsoring the show, go get your emergency food supply, or donate through Bitcoin. Hey, we're taking it to the next level, so you can be a part of that if you support independent and alternative media. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook, if you would, please. Thank you. Appreciate that. Go to Google.com and search this. Operation Northwoods, proof that the U.S. government has planned to attack its own kind while blaming a perceived enemy. Yeah, there you go. Now, I mentioned this last week. I talked a little bit about this last week. But I want you folks to check this out, all right? From westernjournalism.com, fake cell towers, possible interceptors have been discovered in a very scary place. Experts have identified interceptor towers near locations where privileged, says here, let me just move on down here. Have you ever stopped to think that your cell phone conversations might be intercepted by so-called fake or interceptor cell towers? Could domestic violence and law enforcement agencies be using such towers to spy on people? According to a recent investigative piece on Newsweek.com, the answer is yes. Cell towers operated by or in service of the government could well be messing with our private communications. The internet is abuzz with reports of mysterious devices sprinkled across America, many of them on military bases that connect to your phone by mimicking cell phone towers and sucking up your data. There is little public information about these devices, but they are the new favorite toy of the government agencies of all stripes. Everyone from the National Security Agency to local police forces are using them. Now the Washington Times reports that suspicious cell towers have been discovered not where they could be used by the government, but could present a real threat to government operations as well as to national security. According to the Times article, experts have identified interceptor towers near locations where privileged communications are extremely sensitive. The White House and the U.S. Capitol. And who's secretly doing the listening? Probably foreign agents, says one expert. By the way, if you go look up Harris Corporation or something like that. Quote, it's highly likely that federal law enforcement would be using mobile interceptors near the Senate, unquote, ESD America CEO Les Goldsmith told the technology website VentureBeat on Thursday. The towers are also capable of loading spyware onto a mobile device before passing off a victim's call to a legitimate network. Quote, my suspicion is that it is a foreign entity, unquote, he told VentureBeat. The reason Mr. Goldsmith doesn't suspect U.S. agencies of placing interceptors is that the federal government already has the capability of tapping in directly into the carriers. After a separate investigation, theblaze.com says the mysterious intercept devices, not necessarily large towers, have been located around the Russian embassy. Quote, in several locations, including the Pennsylvania Avenue, in several locations, including on Pennsylvania Avenue in downtown D.C., someone is operating a full-blown intercept where whenever you walk past, they actually break open your communications and look at what's going on the device. Aaron Turner, an expert on mobile security, said it could be anyone, quote, setting up in an apartment building. It could be a device embedded in a copy machine inside of an office. Though these cell towers don't have to be big, they don't have to be sitting on top of a roof. They can be embedded in another piece of equipment or be inside of a wall, unquote. There you go, folks. How do you like them apples? I told you this before. They're going to find ways to monitor you. If you're carrying around your cell phone, they can open it up to where they can see you on the camera. They can hear everything you're saying by opening your mic. They can track you. They can listen to your phone calls. Why do you have a cell phone? And for goodness sakes, why are you even using it while driving, okay? I mean, I've got mine right here. Okay? Right here. Right? And the thing is that I know there is a way to stop all this. I know it. I don't have all the answers, but I got enough to hopefully help you put two and two together and figure it out yourself. I know of a way to stop it. And it's not going to take, it's really simple. But it's a little complicated to explain, and I won't explain it on air. But it's really simple if you know electronics. All right? Most of us like our privacy. Most of us say, well, I got nothing to hide. I don't care. Yeah. Those are the people you want to stay away from, okay? I'm just saying. I like my privacy, and the NSA can go kiss my ass. I don't care. I mean, that's just the way it is. Well, if you don't care, they'll just come along. No. They take one step on my land, yeah. That's just the way it is. Well, it's not really my land, but you know what I mean. There was a guy, I think I heard this report somewhere where, now, here it is. Somebody wrote something on Facebook or Twitter or something like that against the NSA, wrote it, said, whatever he said, and like a day later, Department of Homeland Security came to his house. My question is, how did they know where he lived? Okay? And why did it take them 24 hours to get there? You know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't think you're being tracked, I mean, you've heard the stories where people have posted things on Facebook and a day later or whatever, they get SWAT teamed. Why? Because they know where you're at all times, everywhere. And if you're dumb enough to fill out the information completely with address and everything, yeah, you pretty much are inviting them into your home. Okay? I don't mind having people ask me what's going on. I don't mind at all. Okay? I don't want people coming to my door, kicking it in, and violating my space. That's just the way it is. All right? I just don't. You want to talk about intrusion of privacy and manipulating the situation to get their way? Go talk to Adam Kokesh. All right? Because, yeah, the feds broke down his door. His roommate was there. His roommate's girlfriend was there. They put him on the ground. They handcuffed him. And guess what? Adam Kokesh went to jail for absolutely nothing. Nothing. He violated their law by standing in Washington, D.C. and loading a shotgun, which is illegal in Washington, D.C. Well, just last week, I saw the courts, or I saw a report about the courts and others, lightening up on the rules. They're saying that people, they're proposing that people, yes, get concealed carry, which it's been against the law in Washington, D.C. to even have a gun for the last I don't know how many years. So does that mean Adam Kokesh is vindicated? Probably not. I didn't hear the government go to Adam Kokesh and apologize. Some people might think, he's a douche. Why did he do that? To prove a point. Let me go here. If people have a problem with somebody following the law and doing what's right and being a patriot and wanting peace, freedom, liberty, and, the American way, basically. And if they're pissy about that, they got a problem. They got their head so far up their ass that if they fart, they give themselves a migraine. I'm done with stupid people. I've said that before. If you want to criticize me for something you don't understand, which, number one, you don't have a right to. Number two, you shouldn't, because all you got to do is ask me. I'm more than happy to tell you what you need to know. But you're going to lie. Everybody lies. No, I'm not. Mama didn't raise no fool. Let's take a look here at Free America Radio. WashingtonPost.com says only 36% of Americans can name the three branches of government. Holy crap. We're in trouble now. I don't know. That's scary, folks. That is really, really scary. All right. If for some reason, the government decides to come out and say, oh, by the way, yeah, we've been lying to you all this time. If for some reason they do that, do you know the incredible upheaval of violence there will be in the streets? But if they hold back and cover everything up, do you know the upheaval of violence in the streets? Because the government's not being fair. By the way, I just noticed this National Report. Let me go nationalreport.net. Let me do this, and I want to set the record straight once and for all about nationalreport.net. It doesn't say, I got to go down here to the freaking bottom if I can, and it doesn't show anything really. Nationalreport.net, apparently, I can't find it here, but apparently is nothing but a satire site. Okay? Site admin. Let me go in there, find out, because I want to make sure that this is not, I know this for the last 3 or 4 years. It's not true anyway. that Facebook is going to start charging $2.99 a month. Yeah, that's bull crap, and you know it. I'll just shut that page out and give you the comments here. Yeah, a lot of people believe this crap. Okay? It's just a lot of people believe this crap. Oh, here it is. Somebody actually had the truth here. Geez, people, the National Report is a satirical website. Lordy, just because it's on the internet doesn't make it real. Now, it is. It's a satirical site, and it's not real. They're not going to charge. They never have, and they never will. Why do you think pop-up ads come up, and, you know, you're pissed off about those things? Okay? I mean, seriously. Come on. All right? Here you go. Now, I have to say this because I really want to put this out here and make it known. Okay? I find it odd. I'm just going to say odd. I find it odd that people will believe bullcrap over actual truth and facts. Well, you know, prime example, Jon Stewart, The Daily Show. Stephen Colbert, you know. It's like, why are, and Bill Maher, he's not fake, he's just a stupid idiot. Why do people believe that crap? NationalReport.net, a satirical site. Why? It's called behavioral modification. Facebook was caught posting certain elements, certain articles, certain things to see what the reaction of people would be, and they gauged it by, you know, the people's reaction to the articles. Facebook was caught doing that. That's called behavioral experimentation, and by the way, that's against every law in the books. I did not give neither did you, give my consent to being tested that way. So there you go. But why do people believe bullcrap? It's easier for somebody to believe a lie than it is for someone to believe the truth with the facts, isn't it? Well, you know what? I call those people idiots because they just don't want to know. They don't care. They'll just, out of sight, out of mind. I'll just go over here and watch football. They're that stupid. No, I'm not saying that people who watch football are stupid. I'm just saying people that just don't want to have anything to do with research and finding out how they can survive in this world. I mean, that kind of thing. They don't want to look in the enemy's playbook to find ways to defend themselves when the time comes. They don't care. They don't care. And I find it how can I put this? How can I put this? They got their heads in the clouds. They've got their heads in the clouds, and they're looking at life through rose-colored glasses. And they have blinders on, and they have earbuds in with very, calm and soothing music, distracting them from what's going on around them. I don't know. I believe that people are mostly intelligent enough to see what's going on. I don't believe there's these same types of people who are completely apathetic to what's going on, because if they were, they wouldn't care. But I believe that there are people out there as well on the other side of that spectrum who are just completely and totally apathetic to anything going on, and they don't really care. Apathy is the killer of dreams. Apathy is the killer of futures. Okay? It's just, I don't know. I have no idea, folks. No clue. I mean, I can look at, I look at life around me anyway. I can look at life and see that there is there's a view that other people have that I don't know. They think that the light of the oncoming train will see them in time to stop. Light at the end of the tunnel. And when it doesn't, they get pissed off that somebody didn't tell them about it, when they, in fact, were the ones on the stupid track watching the train come at them. You know what I'm saying? It's that bad. And that's where you go from that to being apathetic. I don't care. I got nothing to hide. Yeah, so what? I don't know if that's a good analogy. I don't know if that's a good way of putting it. But I can tell you this much. People do not give a crap at all about anything when it comes to their political survival. I find it, I find this incredibly odd that people have. They have this notion, they have this idea, this concept of what the world should be, and when it's not, they get all pissed off and blame somebody else. When they themselves should understand that self-responsibility and self-accountability leads to a prosperous future for them if they just put their heads together and figure it all out and make something happen in their life. When, they can talk to their friends, their family, or they can sit by themselves and think, 1 + 1 = 2. I wonder why I can't figure that one out. You know what I mean? And they just work at getting something done. And they're hard at work getting that thing done, whatever that thing is they want done in their life. And when it doesn't get done the way they want it, well, it was somebody talking to me, it stressed me out, and I just didn't get it done the way I wanted it. So they blame everybody else instead of themselves for the lack of knowledge and understanding they have about the thing they were trying to do. That's a complicated way of saying they were stupid. They didn't take time to think it out. So, I don't know. People can view things any way they want. They can do whatever they want, I'm sure. And it just goes from there. I mean, for instance, this is something that interested me when I read this, and I'm like, what? And then the thoughts of just went everywhere. The thoughts went everywhere. All right? As soon as I find the article again, let me see what happens here. I don't know what is going on here. So, anyway, this page that I have, I'm going to have to delete this, but look this up. Science fiction, a step closer as Oculus virtual reality headsets near release. Just put down Oculus virtual reality and find the article there. Okay. And I will do that right now. Oculus. Okay, let me just look this up. Okay, I'm going to put this on the yeah. This is great. Love it. Okay. The let's see, news. I'm going to go look at news here. The Verge says Samsung Gear VR is a portable Oculus Rift for the Galaxy Note 4. Okay. You got that so far? You got that so far? Samsung's Gear VR is a portable Oculus Rift for Galaxy Note 4. Virtual reality with no wires, along with new Galaxy Note 4 phablet, is that what it is? Samsung today is announcing new accessory, the Gear VR. The Gear VR is a virtual reality headset powered by the Note 4. Samsung built it in partnership with Oculus maker of the Oculus Rift, arguably the best VR headset in recent Facebook acquisition. The company says the VR will be available later this fall for an unspecified price. The Gear VR brings to mind Google's Cardboard project, which uses a smartphone and cheap lenses to provide a basic 3D virtual reality experience. But it's a much more complete product than Cardboard, much closer to the Oculus Rift in design and appearance, and you don't have to build it yourself. I'm going to put this one up on the Free America Radio website, Facebook page, because, well, actually, it's at the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page, so you might want to go check that out. But here's what I wanted to talk about, was the fact that you have something like this. You have this, and it's going to immerse you into the action. This is what they're looking for. Okay, it's going to immerse you into the field of play. If you're playing one of those football games, John Madden football games, or if you're on the computer and you're doing and you're in VR, they want you, the makers and Facebook and all of that, want you to have full sensation eventually. So this is what's going to happen. And I don't know. I don't see any good come out of this one. I really don't. But I don't know, folks. When I first heard about virtual reality, remember those what is that, laser tag games? You'd go to like a small gaming center, and we have one here at the Grand Sierra Resort, actually. You go to one of these gaming centers, and they have, what I just said. What is that? Yeah, laser tag type games, right? You had that. Now you have, and they've built it, and I've seen the prototypes and also the finished product, where you wear that type of equipment around you, protection, but when you're in VR, you can feel every sensation in your body. If you get hit by something, if you're in one of these first-person shooter games, you're going to feel it. Okay? You're going to feel it. And it's, man, I don't know. I don't know. Don't take your kids or, veterans in there, man. I'm telling you. But this is what's coming, folks. And by the way, if you want to know what the future holds with virtual reality, go look at 2045.com. 2045.com. Yeah, check that out. Hey, folks, I will be back. Taking the top of the hour break. I will be back shortly. Don't go away. Come on back. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email address. Ask questions. I'll give you an answer. Talk to you in a bit.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates, online at thelibertybeat.com. I'm Brian Hagan with your Liberty Beat for Monday, September 22nd, 2014. Gold opened today at $1,224, silver opened at $18.43, while Bitcoin is trading around $405.06. Today's Bitcoin price brought to you by ExpressCoin, the fastest and most reliable way to buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin today at expresscoin.com. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. Vote Michael Cargill to get the cars moving. Learn more or sign up to volunteer at cargillfortexas.com. Political advertisement paid for by the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. In the news today, more than 700 infants may have been exposed to tuberculosis at an El Paso hospital over the past year by an employee recently diagnosed with the illness, according to health officials who made the statement on Friday. The employee, who worked in the nursery at Providence Memorial Hospital, tested positive August 25th and was placed on leave, but she may have exposed infants and about 40 other hospital workers starting in September of 2013, according to Dr. Hector Ocarranza, the health authority for El Paso County. Over the past 4 years, employees have left positions at the Department of Homeland Security at a rate nearly twice as fast as in the federal government overall. That's according to a recent federal database review that also shows the trend to be accelerating. The departures are a result of what employees widely describe as a dysfunctional work environment, abysmal morale, and the lure of private security companies paying top dollar that have proliferated in Washington since the September 11th, 2001 attacks. Automatic license plate readers have spread across the U.S. as local police departments continue to adopt the controversial technology. In February of 2014, Homeland Security canceled a plan for a national license plate tracking system, leading to wide-ranging policies on the cameras. The cameras can be mounted to traffic lights or police vehicles. Despite the efforts of civil liberties groups, judges have supported law enforcement agencies suppressing details on the hundreds of millions of scans. Support for Liberty Beat comes from Cabo Bob's, Southwestern-style burritos, now with 2 locations in Austin. 500 East Bend White Boulevard and 2828 Rio Grande Boulevard. Find them online, CaboBobs.com. And support comes from Sovereign Living, a podcast, blog, and reality show about what it takes to live a voluntary and natural life. Check out the blog at SovereignLiving.com and watch episode 1 of the soon-to-be-released reality show at SovereignLiving.tv. This is the Liberty Beat for Monday, September 22nd, 2014. Check out the website at thelibertybeat.com and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Liberty Beat. A Green Party candidate for New York's 21st Congressional District has recently come under fire for his questioning of the official story of September 11, 2001. Matt Funicello has written about and spoken publicly on questions he believes have not been answered regarding the events of that day. Funicello specifically believes the collapse of World Trade Center 7 is curious, stating that Americans need to be critical of anything the government says. Democratic candidate Aaron Wolf attacked Funicello for his views, calling his statements outrageous and offensive. Beginning next month, the U.S. Border Patrol will begin testing body cameras on Border Patrol agents. Customs and Border Protection Commissioner R. Gil Kurlikowski stated that cameras will be tested starting October 1st at the Training Academy in Artesia, New Mexico. The announcement comes on the heels of a national debate on police accountability and transparency. Civil rights leader Dolores Huerta will be speaking at the Briscoe Museum in San Antonio this December. According to the museum, Dolores Huerta has a long and distinguished career as a champion for social justice. As an advocate for farm workers' rights, Huerta has been arrested more than 20 times for participating in nonviolent civil disobedience activities and strikes. During a peaceful and lawful protest in 1988, she was brutally beaten by San Francisco police, resulting in accountability efforts in law enforcement. The event is Thursday, December 4th at 6:30 p.m. To buy tickets and learn more about this inspirational woman, visit BriscoeMuseum.org. Today's edition of the Liberty Beat brought to you by Brave New Books, your source for all things Bitcoin, now hosting a Bitcoin ATM, located in Austin, Texas at 1904 Guadalupe Street, or online, bravenewbookstore.com. This is the Liberty Beat for Monday, September 22nd, 2014. I'm Brian Hagan, reporting.
Local radio with a worldwide connection. The Free America Radio Network. Go to www.freeamericaradio.us. What's that moving in the shadows? Claranormal Talk Radio with your host, Steve Hembry, right here on RadioKahuna.com.
Is he a conservative liberal, or is he a liberal conservative? You decide. You're listening to The Views Expressed with Reverend Wayne S. Pierce.
Hey folks, this is The Views Express live right here on the Free America Radio Network at freeamericaradio.us. This is the 22nd of September 2014. Thank you all for being here, listening to this. If it's a podcast and you're listening later, thank you. If you have any questions, no question is off limits. If you have any comments, concerns, or whatever, even if you disagree with me, freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com is the website, or email address, excuse me. A little Freudian slip there. And Free America Radio on Facebook, if you would, please. Thank you. Lots of things going on. I mentioned it the past hour. You got to go to Free America Radio on Facebook to read and get the Hillary letters. Hillary wrote a letter to her hero of community organizing, Saul Alinsky. They had some correspondence going on as well. Yeah. McDonald's in Europe is thumbing their nose at the people that want their minimum wage raised, and they should do the same thing here eventually, like within the next 6 months. CNET.com says McDonald's hires 7,000 touchscreen cashiers. Okay. Now, of course, some people don't read the article and just think that it's here. Now, well, some places here, they're looking at it. But, yeah, those people that want $15 an hour just to flip my burger, nope, ain't going to happen. You're going to get 8. Oh, that is the minimum wage. I'm sorry. But anyway. What shall we do? Hey. No singing on this program. TheHill.com says Boehner, immigration reform will help boost economy. Well, let me tell you something. That's a bunch of crap right there. I call BS on that. There you go. Scott Wong over at TheHill.com put up a video with this article. It wasn't part of the jobs message he planned to pitch, but Speaker John Boehner said Thursday that immigration reform would help boost the economy. Quote, immigration reform will help our economy, but you've got to secure the borders first, unquote, the Ohio Republican said after a speech at the conservative think tank American Enterprise Institute. Quote, we've got a mess and everyone knows we've got a mess. Our legal system is broken, our border isn't secure, and we've got the problem of those who are here without documents, unquote. The speaker continued, quote, it needs to be fixed. We're a nation of immigrants. The sooner we do it, the better off this country would be, unquote. Let me break that down just a second. He says that our immigration will help our economy. No, it won't. What will help our economy is putting the American people to work, not allowing millions and millions of undocumented workers in to take our jobs, period. But he is right about one thing. He says, but you've got to secure the border first. I agree with him there. He says we've got a mess. We do. Everybody knows we got a mess, and we do. His immigration comments in response to an audience question weren't part of his prepared remarks. Get that? Prepared remarks. They followed a 20-minute speech in which Boehner laid out his 5-point plan to jumpstart America's economy. The AEI address served as the GOP's closing argument before the November midterm elections and came just as the White House was wrapping up its final day of votes before sprinting to the campaign trail. Boehner didn't offer any surprises in his speech. He called for fixing the U.S. tax code, cutting spending, reforming the legal system, reining in federal regulation, and boosting education. Well, let me break that down for you, folks. He's calling to fix the tax code. You don't want to fix it. You want to get rid of it because the IRS and the Federal Reserve are private, okay? And they don't deserve to be around. Want to cut billions of dollars out of the Washington budget? Get rid of the IRS and the Federal Reserve, period. Okay? He says he wants to cut spending. They want to raise taxes because they want to spend money. He says they want to reform the legal system. No, they don't. They don't want to reform anything, including the legal system. And they want to rein in federal regulations and boost education. No, they don't. Common Core is not education. It's indoctrination. It's stupid. And federal regulations, look at California. He's saying reining in federal regulations. No, get rid of the ones that don't work. Well, that's reining it in. No, it's getting rid of the stupidity in government. California has been overregulated for years. Look at it, it's not only in the hole, it's being buried at this point, okay? I said in a podcast earlier that it was in the toilet and somebody flushed it a few months back, and then the water filled up and now it's ready to be flushed again. I'll restate that in this way and describe it like this. It's in the grave and somebody's putting dirt over it right now, okay? California's done, okay? You ever been living in a place and then move away and then go back for some reason? But you're only there temporarily? And then you leave again and permanently you're gone? I know people that have done that. And they look at California going, man, I wish I wouldn't even gone there. You know? I've been back and forth between the biggest little city, Reno, Nevada, back and forth between here and California for many years. I don't even know why I kept going back to California. Maybe I was hoping that it would get better. No, California's in the grave and they're putting dirt over it as we speak, okay? The article goes on. And the speaker said opening up more areas for oil exploration and building the Keystone XL pipeline would, quote, really get our economy humming, unquote. Quote, we do these 5 things in a meaningful way. Along with the coming energy boom, we can reset the foundation of our economy for the next 2 to 3 generations and beyond, unquote, Boehner said. I have to agree with that. Boehner argued that GOP's first priority should be tax reform. Yeah, get rid of it. He said all of the focus on so-called corporate, quote-unquote, inversions, where U.S. corporations buy foreign companies and move their headquarters abroad to avoid taxes, was short-sighted. Quote, inversions are really just visible symptoms of a much deeper problem. Our tax code is terrible. No one understands it, certainly not IRS. So all this talk about inversions is just making the problem smaller. It's fussing over a divot when the road is loaded with potholes, unquote. I agree. He also tried to inspire. When fall arrives, Boehner said he's reminded on how cities and college built memorials to honor those who perished during the world wars. Quote, Well, America has a tough schedule in front of it. We cannot avoid it, nor should we try, unquote, Boehner said during his pep talk. Quote, America is not merely obligated to lead. We are again called to lead. And we are driven to serve in the same spirit in which our parents and grandparents built those living memorials, with humility and a desire to leave something that outlasts us. Boehner said that we're supposed to lead. Well, didn't Joe Biden say the same thing in his speech? Okay, I mean, seriously, did he not say that? I mean, I remember him saying something like that. Well, you know, it's in this clip that I'm about to play for you, and I know he said it, didn't he? Did he not say it? Well, let's take a listen.
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
The affirmative task we have now is to actually create a new world order, because the global order is changing again. And the institutions and the rules that worked so well in the post-World War II era for decades, they need to be strengthened, and some have to be changed. So we have to do what we do best. We have to lead. We have to lead.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
There you go, folks. There you go. Right there. Right there. I don't give a crap what people say to me anymore. I've been researching this in the shadow government for over 30 years, and I can tell you this right now. Washington, D.C. is owned and operated by the corporations around the world, and the Soros types and the Rockefeller types. The Rockefellers are diverse. Or what is that? Something. They're giving up. I forget the word now. They're giving up their oil empire, apparently. And I don't know. I'm trying to find the article here that talks about it. The Rockefellers are doing something. Sorry, I'm trying to find it, folks. I should be on top of this stuff. My God. I'll punish myself. I'll fire myself from this. The odd thing is that the Rockefellers are giving up their companies. Okay? They're just die of something or other. I don't know. They're dying. No, they're divesting. There's the word. God, I knew I'd get it. They're divesting their investment, their involvement. $860 million or $1 billion or something like that. A lot of money. Let's put it that way. They're giving it up, and it's. It's hard to understand why a group of people, a family, would divest themselves if there wasn't a problem. Folks, there is a problem, okay? And the problem is only getting worse And it's in America. Now, a lot of companies in America, a lot of big families, billionaires, and they have lots and lots of money, they are investing in other countries. They're not investing in the United States. They're not helping entrepreneurs build their businesses. They're not doing any of that. They're leaving this country because it's falling apart. Why? The dollar is weak, very weak. I always like to say that your toilet paper in your bathroom is worth more than the dollar in your pocket. This is what's happening. Even the Rockefellers see this. Okay? I don't know why, but I do know this. I don't know why people cannot grasp the very facts, F-A-C-T-S, facts, about what is going on. I really don't. And I don't want to hear from people that say, well, I have my facts, you have yours. No, you don't. No, you don't. What you believe is facts is contradictory to the evidence that I have proving you wrong. Every single time. There's nothing that you can do, and I already know the game in your playbook, to ever get me to see things your way as far as what you think is the truth. Because I came from a very hardcore Democrat family. Okay? My mom voted for John F. Kennedy. Both my parents did. I registered to vote when I was in my late 20s because I knew that something had to be done. I registered as a Democrat until I found out what the party was like and what their history was, started by the KKK, or a member of the KKK. Go look it up. It's right there in history. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. 4 years later, I said, well, screw that. And I registered as a Republican. Well, my God, they're worse off than freaking Democrats. So I registered as an independent. And there wasn't too many people at that time. So then I registered as a non-partisan. More people now in the nonpartisan category, but no national faces. And that's where we need to get all parties involved. By the way, the Socialist Party, which is, there is one in America, there is one in the United States. And all these other left-wing, fascist, Marxist political parties, no need to apply, folks. Just ignore them, all right? Just ignore them. They're stupid, they're moronic, they have no idea what America is, they don't really care, and if George Washington, Samuel Adams, and all the rest of the presidents were here from the past, I know for a fact that George Washington would kick their ass. Abraham Lincoln would walk into the White House right now, look at Barack Obama and say, what the hell are you doing? I freed you for a reason and this wasn't it, you jackass. He probably wouldn't yell like I would, but he would probably be, a little more diplomatic. I freed the slaves so that you would have a better life, not to take over the damn country. I often look back in history and I wonder why. I wonder what these presidents thought. And here was Samuel Adams. It was just. I mean, seriously, folks, what were they thinking. Okay? I'm looking up Samuel Adams if you want to know why I'm typing. As soon as the freaking page comes up. Samuel Adams, born the 27th of September, 1722, and passed away October 2nd, 1803. I wonder what he thought. It says here, he was an American statesman, a political philosopher, and one of the founding fathers of the United States. As a politician in colonial Massachusetts, Adams was a leader of the movement that became the American Revolution and was one of the architects of the principles of American republicanism that shaped the political culture of the United States. He was second cousin to President John Adams. Born in Boston, Adams was brought up in a religious and politically active family. A graduate of Harvard College, he was an unsuccessful businessman and tax collector before concentrating on politics. As an influential official in the Massachusetts House of Representatives and the Boston Town Meeting in the 1760s, Adams was a part of a movement opposed to the British Parliament's efforts to tax British American colonies without their consent. His 1768 circular letter calling on colonial non-cooperation prompted the occupation of Boston by British soldiers, eventually resulting in the Boston Massacre in 1770. To help coordinate resistance to what he saw as the British government's attempt to violate the British Constitution at the expense of the colonies, in 1772, Adams and his colleagues devised a committee of correspondence systems which linked like-minded patriots throughout the 13 colonies. Continued resistance to British policy resulted in the 1773 Boston Tea Party and the coming American Revolution. But we have to wonder, folks. I mean, just think about this. He was crucial in bringing about a revolution. He was crucial. And his cousin, the president, John Adams, second president of the United States from 1797 to 1801. I mean, you think about this, folks. I don't get it. I don't get it. His constitutional ideas. I'm looking at Wikipedia if you want to know. Massachusetts' new constitution, ratified in 1780 and written largely by Adams himself, structured its government most closely to his views of politics and society. It was the first constitution written by a special committee and ratified by the people. It was also the first to feature a bicameral legislature. Bicameral, is that what it is? A clear and distinct executive with a partial two-thirds veto, although he was restrained by an executive council and a distinct judicial branch. Okay. I don't know, and what went through the minds of the presidents when we had wars all over the place? We were even having a sort of kind of war with France. That's probably why they hate us so much. It's one of those things, folks. I mean, you just have to look at these things and ask yourself, these presidents down the line had a lot to try to figure out, and no one handed them a book to say, here's the instructions on how to do it. I would even go as far as saying they freaking did it by the skin of their teeth and by the short hairs, if you know what I mean. They probably made it up as they went along. Folks, bottom of the hour, last half hour of the show. I'll be right back. Go to freeamericaradio.us or email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, and I want to tell you of a DVD that I have watched. It's a very interesting one. It's a film by Alex Jones. It's called Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. For the New World Order, a world government is just a beginning. Once in place, they can engage their plan to exterminate 80% of the world's population while enabling the quote-unquote elites to live forever with the aid of advanced technology. For the first time, crusading filmmaker Alex Jones reveals their secret plan for humanity's extermination. Operation Endgame. That's Endgame by Alex Jones. Get it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com. Photography is an art form, and Adventures in Photography shows you all of the forms of art there is in our world. Spencer Hughes captures the colors and works of natural art in his book, Adventures in Photography. For more information, go to SpencerHughesPhotography.com. Hey, folks, this is the Views Express Live right here on the Free America Radio Network. How are ya? Yeah, how you doing? Lots going on. Lots happening. Things are changing for the show, by the way. Free America Radio Network is going to the next level, but we're going to need your help, if you are able to help. Go to freeamericaradio.us. There's a way to contribute. If you'd like to sponsor the show, you can do that. It's not going to break your marketing or advertising budget at all. Also, you can go to Emergency Food Supply at the top of the page and get as much emergency food supply as you need in case the power goes out or some man-made disaster happens. You can also contribute and donate through Bitcoin. And of course, freeamericaradio.us. There is a store there, so check out the store. Buy some stuff. Help out independent and alternative media, and specifically Free America Radio Network. Thank you very much. Things are changing. And I'll let you know more as time grows or goes closer to the time when things are actually going to be changing. I will tell you this, I might be off for about a week or two. Just some things are changing behind the scenes. Got to do all that stuff as well. So anyway, you can help out if you'd like. Appreciate that very much. Anyway, hey, speaking of which, I was doing a little voice there. Speaking of which, if you are a voiceover artist and would like to hone your abilities and volunteer your services, you can. I've written some radio play type stories, ongoing serials, old radio shows. Remember those? I've written a few scripts. And I'm currently looking for voice actors to fill some parts. So that's Eastland Radio Repertory Theater on Spreaker.com. And you can email me if you have any questions or you want to send me what you do. You can email me at eastlandradiotheater@usa.com. That's Eastland Radio Theater. And that's Eastland Radio Repertory Theater on Spreaker.com. Check it out. So there you go. Want to give a big shout out to the one and only Mr. Tom Slick over at 92.6 Radio Rock the Blitz. Yes, go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com for more information. Check out his show. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I believe it is. So check it out. radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. Anyway, onward and upward. We have a few more things that I would like to talk about. All right. So anyway, I'm going to go here. Now, it says here on the Drudge Report, right at the top, warning over 1 million Ebola cases by the end of January. That's what it said. Am I worried? Not so much. Unless it's airborne. They said it was airborne, so I don't know. Don't know any of that. Now, I want to say that there's another pathetic little mouth to feed on the face of this planet coming up. Chelsea Clinton is having, or Chelsea, whatever her last name is having a baby, so I know I should be nicer. I know. Yeah, bad me. Slap my hand. Let's go. Yeah, I know. I should be nicer. Yes, I should be nicer. Okay. From gizmag.com, liquid metal could be used to create morphing electronics. I'm going to put that up as a... I don't know if people are interested in it. I'm going to put that up on the Free America Radio Facebook page because I find that quite interesting. Because look at what the ramifications could be if in the wrong hands. Okay? I mean, just check it out. Anything that is created to be good is always in some way, shape, or form found in certain cases to be used for something opposite than what it was originally created for. You understand? So this thing could take off in a totally wrong direction. Oh, jeez. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to go to Reuters.com. Some stories there I want to talk about. The Reuters has an article up. U.S. opposes linking Iran corporations on Islamic State to nuclear talks. This is out of Washington. The United States said on Monday that it would refuse to seek Iran's cooperation in fighting Islamic State forces by being more flexible in the negotiations of 6 world powers with Tehran on its nuclear program. Senior Iranian officials told Reuters that Iran is ready to work with the United States and its allies to stop Islamic State militants, but would like more flexibility on Iran's uranium enrichment program in exchange. Asked to respond, White House spokesman Josh Earnest said the idea was unacceptable, remarks that echoed those from other Western powers in the negotiations with Tehran. European officials have also made it clear they do not want to bring other issues into the nuclear negotiations. Ernest said the effort by world powers, including the United States, to persuade Iran to give up its nuclear program is entirely separate from President Barack Obama's attempt to build a coalition against Islamic State. Quote, the United States will not be in a position of trading aspects of Iran's nuclear program to secure commitments to take on ISIL, Ernest said, using the acronym of Islamic State. He also said the United States would not coordinate the coalition's military activities with the Iranians and would not share intelligence on Islamic State with Iran. Islamic State forces have seized swaths of Iraq and Syria and proclaimed a caliphate. They stand accused of massacres of civilians, beheadings, and other human rights violations. While not surprising, the United States response suggests the White House feels a need to tell Iran publicly that it wants other issues kept away from the nuclear talks. The comments from Iranian officials about linking the nuclear negotiations to the fight against Islamic State highlight how difficult it may be for the Western powers to separate the atomic negotiations from other topics. Iran wields influence in the Syrian civil war and on Iraqi government, which is fighting the advance of Islamic State fighters. The last round of nuclear negotiations between Iran and the United States, Britain, France, Germany, Russia, and China began last week and is expected to run at least until Friday. No major breakthroughs are expected in the negotiations in New York, which are aimed at coming up with a deal that would end sanctions on Iran in exchange for curbs on its nuclear program. The sides have set a November 24th deadline for a long-term accord between Iran and the six powers. I look at it this way. Connect the dots. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wants to wipe Iran off the face of the earth. So if Iran gets nuclear power or has nuclear reactors and all of that, can you imagine what would happen in that whole area if Israel did bomb these locations? The Middle East would be gone. Or at least Iran and Syria would be gone. How would you deal with the radiation? How would you deal with the fallout? So there's that to contend with. But then you have the uranium enrichment. For what? After Fukushima and I remember being around when 3 Mile Island went kapooey, why don't we just take all these spent fuel rods, pack them up in a rocket ship, and just send them off the Earth? Send them straight into the sun. Why not? Or send them completely out into space. It doesn't matter. Send them out there, and after 25 years, blow the crap up. It's just going to mix up with the radiation that's already out there. Or is that worse? Can a scientist get a hold of me? Because I really want to know. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. I really want to know. Would it be better just to blast that crap off the planet into outer space, hundreds of millions of miles away, or should we shoot it into the sun? I want to know. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. Put in the subject line radio so I know that you heard this. I don't know, folks. I mean, here we are, excuse me, dealing with we're we're dealing with a bunch of crazy people in Washington, D.C. I don't make any apologies for that. They're crazy SOBs, period. Okay? They're nutters. They're out there crazy as a loon, and that's all. Okay? So, think about this for a minute, if you would, please. You got a bunch of people sitting around a big old giant room, and they call themselves a Congress, their House of Representatives and Senate, and they're trying to figure out how to get away and break the laws that we're supposed to follow that we can't get away with. They're trying to figure out how to make more money, to spend more money. They're trying to figure out how they can pull the wool over our eyes and cover up things. That's all they're doing. They're not trying to run the nation or anything. They do these peripheral things by arguing with Iran about their nuclear program. And it all comes down to this. Eventually, we're not going to be here anymore. Eventually, our bodies are going to go away. Bye-bye. And we're not going to be here anymore. And our kids, our grandkids, whether you adopted kids or whatever, they're going to have to deal with the no pun intended, with the political fallout of our stupidity. And they're going to be looking back in history at us going, what were you people thinking? Why didn't you get up off your ass and go out and fight this stuff? And then you'll probably have some sage, some very intelligent, spiritually adept person understanding, well, did you understand the prophecy that was out there of that time? I don't want to get preachy here or get biblical, but yeah, I think prophecy pretty much tells the tale of how this is all going to turn out. When I read my Bible, I didn't see any mention in there about the United States of America in any of the research I did. I did see the whore of Babylon, which some theologians, not me, have said that that's the United States of America. Well, we are whoring ourselves out, aren't we? We are just as bad as Babylon, aren't we? Huh. Put two and two together, folks. That might just come right out to be the perfect answer. But think about this for a moment. We are on the brink of a massive upheaval in this country. We are on the brink of one of the biggest, probably the most dangerous types of government that the world has ever seen since the Roman Empire. And if you follow prophecy, both biblical and secular, I would say secular with Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce, you're going to see that most of that world power, that one world order, or the new world order that Obama and Biden so want so desperately, they're going to see, and you're going to see, and I'm going to see, we're all going to see, that it's coming out of Europe. Some would say that it's a Muslim country that will institute the worldwide one world religion. And if you watch some of the documentaries from the 70s and 80s, you'll see that some documentaries about prophecy and who will rule the world, you see that they are saying that they're Muslim. I know Muslims, and they say, no, that's not what our Bible teaches. That's not what the Quran teaches. So what is it, folks? We went from a divided world many, many years ago. People going to and fro and living and building societies and all of that. We're all divided, but we're all one people, called humanity. And we turn around and a group of people decide to make a country for themselves, the United States of America, and they build it up with freedom, liberty, entrepreneurship, resources. And then they go outside of the country to get trade going and to get all that when our founding fathers said, don't do that. And then the dumbasses decided to get a central bank when the founding fathers were saying, don't do that. And then we decided to put like militias all in the state to protect the borders. And then the government came along and called them up for service. Okay? This is later on. And our founding fathers warned us about that. Don't you think we should have listened to them? Don't you think we should have played by their rules? The Constitution and the Bill of Rights, ratified December 15, 1791, spelled it out perfectly. But morons kept putting amendments in there, shooting down every single idea our founding fathers had. Well, they got rid of slavery. That was an amendment. Okay, good. But it took a civil war to do that. It wasn't about slavery. And don't get your knickers in a knot there, folks. It was about secession. Confederate President Jefferson Davis wanted to secede from the rest of the Union. He convinced other states down south to come together and secede from the North. It wasn't about slavery. So get that out of your history books. It's not true. President Lincoln went, I don't think so, Jeff. I think we're going to have a problem. They got their ass kicked. So anyway, our founding fathers warned us of the travesties set upon this country. They warned us what would happen if we allowed our government, our three branches of government, mind you, if one of them decided to take over. This is why there are checks and balances, dumbass. But the facts spell it out very, very clearly. And the facts are in your face, and the facts are staring you in your face, and you're sitting there going, but just give me what I want. The group of people in Washington, D.C. we call congressmen and women are not your sugar daddy, so why don't you get up off your stinking lazy ass and go do something? Huh? Why? You know? Why don't you? I'll tell you what. If a person, and I know this from my own personal experience, if a person puts their mind to something and says, I'm going to do that, it usually gets done. Somebody else is going to come along and say, why'd you do it that way? Why didn't you? Whoa. Time out, Slick. I did it. I accomplished it. It's my way. I don't want to hear it anymore. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. You accomplished something. Instead of sitting around and being all, uptight, why don't you go out and do something? Hey, remember in 2008 that woman says to that reporter, Obama's going to, pay my electricity bill, going to pay my car, pay my mortgage. And they caught up with her 5 years later, just last year I think it was. And she told The Blaze, I think it was theblaze.com, she told them he lied. Well, of course he lied. He's a dumbass. That's why. And the person that was talking about her Obama phone, she was on Alex Jones' show, and Alex showed her all of the evidence against Obama. And it convinced her, man, this guy's bad news. I don't know. I kind of think about how people usually look at certain things and ignore other things that could be crucial to their development of gaining answers to anything. I'm only going to look at this because that's all that's there, and I forget about everything else. Well, why don't you look at the whole picture there, moron? Oh, wait, you can't because you're a moron. Let me rephrase that. Why don't you take the whole picture, look at it, just don't pick it apart and take out of it what you want. Look at the whole thing and then decide how you're going to take your next step. I can't do that without taking out parts of it to it. No. Just look at the whole picture. Here, let me give you a map. See that? Those words there? You are here. Follow the line. Where you want to go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how simple I can make this explanation. I really don't. I don't know how I can make it to where people can understand it. It's either you take a step to achieve or you don't, and you just stand there watching everything go by. Okay? And for people to just sit around and suck off the government, that's a difficult thing. I know people that have been out of work for 2-3 years and got off of the unemployment and all that emergency stuff and everything, and their spouse, their better half, is taking care of them. I know people like that. And when you talk to them, you know damn well they're not happy because they're not working, but they're saying, well, I can do something. But here's the thing, and I laugh about this because I know people that do this too. They went from jobs making $10 to $12 to $15 an hour down to minimum wage, and they're like, what the hell am I doing this? I'm better than this. Well, if you're better than that, jackass, why don't you go out and get another job? I've got experience. I've got some, physical problems that keep me from doing what I used to do. But I can still walk and get around and, stuff like that. But to look at the majority of the people who are unemployed or underemployed is incredible. It's almost 1/3 of the population of the United States of America. Okay? And I would say half of them hadn't even worked in over 5 years since Obama took office. I would even go as far as saying 50 million people, upwards to 50 million people, aren't working because of this president. Now that's a perfect spot to end the show. And I might be wrong. So if I'm wrong, please email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. I would like to know. Put in the subject line radio so I know you heard this show. Please support the Free America Radio Network if you can at freeamericaradio.us. I would really appreciate that because we're going to the next level and you can be a part of that. So thank you. Now, you can also email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. Check out the website at freeamericaradio.us. Check out the website, thewaynespearceshow.weebly.com for the podcast. And, I'll hopefully be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, live. If not, there will be a podcast for you. And I will let you know what that is. So anyway, have a great Monday. I'm glad you joined me today. And if you want to hear more, please support alternative and independent media at freeamericaradio.us and donate what you can. Or go to Emergency Food Supply and pick up all the food supply you can get. Help out your family and Free America Radio. Thank you. And then, in the meantime, folks, there's always something to remember, isn't there? Always something to remember like this. We the people have the power, for we are America.